welcome to Division 2 of the race at Road America. I'm joined by Jason Alden-Jones. Jason, we live, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Basheer. And we're looking forward to an exciting Division 2 race after an amazing Division 1 race, Basheer, in which you won that race. So great to be able to talk to you while we watch Division 2 this evening.
Yeah, I got a bit lucky, but I'll take it. We're watching Chris Langefeld is on his outlap at the moment. Quite a big field we have tonight with a lot of fast guys. Yeah, it should be a good race tonight.
Yeah, I think so. It's as we saw on Monday night, this circuit really provides some fantastic racing, a lot of passing opportunities, a lot of slow and fast corners. And I think a lot of Division 2 guys would have watched that race on Monday evening to try to pick up some pointers. But, in this Division 2 race, we have a lot of Division 1 drivers too who have joined to fill up the grid. And that's fantastic to see. And, as you say, you only get better when you race against better drivers. And fantastic opportunity for the Division 2 drivers to do just that.
Absolutely. And there's nothing better than practicing in a race, so it does well for the Division 1 guys as well. So Chris Langefeld's about to join the main straight, about to start a lap. We're going to stick on board with him, I think. Let's see how he does it.
Yes, we're watching Chris Langeveld do his first flying lap this evening. And there are white line exceptions, so the drivers can run wide at turn 1 and turn 12 on the circuit. And no doubt we'll see that during the race and qualifying as well. And the drivers trying to extract everything out of the car and track as much as they can within the rules.
Yeah, there's it's quite slippery out there though, so it's not really going to gain you any time. That's why I think it's an exception for this track. It's more just to avoid any incident trying to, avoid running wide there. So you just take a cleaner line through. It's not going to gain them any time.
Langefeld's pretty quick straight away, so we saw a sort of a mid-tour 4 from him in the final practice. Let's see what he comes up with on this stuff.
He's going to get a good tow from the car in front. Should help a bit as well. Starts off with a 203.8. Very good lap right out the bat. Jump on board Rian Lamprecht, put it in second, but quite some distance behind. On board with Soshil Ranchod at the moment. He's starting second lap, he's about 2/10 down.
Ranchod joining us on debut this evening, so I'm sure it's pretty exciting for him. And I've been doing this for many years and still not old, so I can only imagine what it's like to be his first race in South Africa. I wish him all the best. We'll see how he develops as he continues his career at South Africa.
Yep, he should see what get himself a good benchmark against the guys who he's with. Mark Henbury is,
yeah.
Sorry, Mark Henbury's put it in second place. 8 tenths behind Chris Langeveld, but that's impressive with the Ferrari.
Absolutely. Hembury is one of the drivers who had a bit of bad luck during the race on Monday evening in Division 1. And I think he was up to 5th position or so, and really looking strong in the Ferrari. Clearly found something in the setup and with it in himself. And unfortunately, he just got one of the corners wrong, and it spat him out into the barriers. I think it was at turn 12.
Yeah, that was quite
He'll be
unfortunate.
looking to make amends this evening as well. Christopher Langeveld will be looking to do the same after battling with you, Basheer, throughout the opening stages of that race.
Yeah, he did mention that he's out to make amends for what happened on Monday. Mark Henry is almost 2 tenths up on this lap. Shouldn't trouble Langeveld much, but should be a good improvement for Mark himself.
Hembury really like riding the curbs very well. Keep the car set up nicely. Shout out to everybody in the YouTube live chat. Welcome. And just noticed a message from Eddie Franz saying it's so bleak that he's missing out in the action. And okay, we're looking forward to having you back, Wesley.
Henry improves to 2:04.4. Good lap from him. That Ferrari is really, that's a good lap for the Ferrari. Goes to the pits. Quade Claessen's put it in P3 at the moment. Geldernes in P4. But Geldernes looks like he's about to do a better lap. He's matching his best delta time. Let's stick with him for a few corners. Oh, great exit. He's going to match and beat his time now. So it's seesawing around 2 tenths, 3 tenths. That's a great exit there. 4 tenths up. This is going to be a good lap from Peter Geldernes. 5 tenths, wow.
Peter Geldernes is one of the drivers who really improved this season from where he started. And really fighting his way towards the front of the field every race.
Yeah, he's put in a lot of effort. I always see him in the practice servers, always doing laps. You can see it's paying off.
That's what it takes to be good at what we're doing.
Yep.
Preparation.
6.5 tenths up now. This is going to be a massive improvement. Let's see if he can trouble. Whoa, Chris Langeveld put it in a 2:03.5 to extend his pole gap. That's an awesome lap. I think that's the best we've seen thus far. I think that's even better than his pole position on Monday.
I think you're right.
Take it easy, Chris. Peter Geldernes is going to improve by about half a second here. And he goes to P3, 2:04.7, good lap. I'm sure he still has a bit more in it because he was almost 7 tenths up on that lap. So we have Langeveld in first, Mark Henry in second, Peter Geldernes in third, Quade Claessen's in fourth, Rian Lamprecht is in fifth, Steven Sparks, also one of the drivers that's improved a hell of a lot since the start of the season.
Absolutely.
And he's in sixth position, not far behind everyone else. Alaric Enslin is in seventh, Marius Meyer in the Lamborghini. I think this is the sole Lamborghini for the season, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, that's correct.
This car really sounds awesome. He's in 8th place at the moment. Sushil Ranchod is in 9th place, and Carl Stieg is rounding up the field at the moment in the Mercedes. He's going to have a massive improvement here of almost half a second. 6 tenths now, 7 tenths. Keep it going, guy.
Yeah.
And Langerfeld improves again to a 203.4. That's an amazing time. Well done. Carl Steegs put it up to P9, 206.9. Well done. Great improvement.
Yeah, these other drivers improving all the time.
Gonna jump on board with Mark Henry. I think he's on the out lap at the moment. About to start a lap.
I just got, what is it, over 3 minutes remaining in the session, if I'm correct?
3 minutes to go.
And, yeah, that pressure will be building up. The drivers only have one run left or so. And we're looking to absolutely nail it now and get the ultimate grid position that they can achieve for this evening's race. A long race, 43 laps. And of course, every driver must do at least one pit stop, which brings the element of strategy into it. We saw sort of different approaches on which tyre to use on Monday evening. To see how it works out this evening as well.
Yeah, that'll be very interesting to see which tyres these guys run.
But hopefully we can see that because none of our expert statistician here, Van Henno, really has all that information, but I'll try and do my best to see if I can see what's going on.
So Mark Henry is just a 10th, or 10th up now, 2/10. He's had a poor exit there, he's lost that gap. He's pretty much matching his best time. Let's see if he can get a good exit in this next corner and the right-hander that follows. That's where majority of the time is going to be made up. We saw an amazing pass around the outside of this long right-hander on Monday night by Peter Geldenhuys. It was one for the ages.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure they caught Chris Heineke out as the man being passed. But in that fantastic racing. Yeah, just one of the many fantastic moves on even the quality of racing is really shining through. It's great to see that element of racecraft coming through from the drivers.
Mark Henry's abandoned that lap. Peter Geldenhuys is almost 3/10 up on this lap. So this is going to trouble Mark Henry. If Peter Geldenhuys can keep this one clean, he should make it a red line racing 1-2. It's red line racing, yeah?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. He should make it a 1-2. 4/10 up now.
Including those red line racing guys have already found something with Mercedes-Benz and making that soft tire last as long as they did on Monday evening. We expect to see the same this evening, I think. And they clearly found something with the car that the other Mercedes-Benz drivers haven't quite found yet.
Again, it's all the setup and practice work that went in, so kudos to them for getting it working. This is going to be a massive improvement, Jason. He's almost half a second up. So
it is a massive improvement, Bash, at this late stage of the session.
Yeah, I mean, this is right at the 11th hour. He's going to pull it out the bag, and Mark Henry's in the pit, so he's not going to have a chance to respond. So if he gets this last corner right, yes, well done. Yeah, he should have P2 in the bag. So it looks like it's going to be a red line racing 1-2.
Yeah.
Yep, 204.1, great lap time. Well done, Peter.
Wow.
On board with Quade Claessens now. He's also making a slight improvement, 200s up. Let's follow him through this lap.
I was watching Peter Geldenhuys come to that last corner and so confident with the rear end of the car. There's a little slide, but he just kept going and held straight. And wow, great lap 2:04.1.
Quaid's made up a lot of times. 2 tenths up. Oh, he makes a mistake. He loses the back end. Unlucky. I think that should be it for qualifying. Oh, it's Sushil, but I doubt he's gonna make an improvement. He's 7 tenths down. So, yeah, I think the grid should stay as it is with Langeveld in pole position with a 2:03.4. That's an epic lap time. There's no other word for it. Peter Haldenes in second, Mark Henry in third, Quaid Claessens in fourth, Rian Lamprecht in fifth, Steven Sparks in sixth, Alaric Enslin in seventh, Marius Meyer in eighth, Carl Stieg in ninth, Sushil Ranchod in 10th, and Tim Smith has joined the field as well. He's rounding up the field now. So now we wait for the race to begin. I will remember to take the car off the grid this time.
I did the same thing a week later. No worries. We're hoping that the new Assetto Corsa competition does a feature where we don't have to have our cars in the grid and do commentating. Let's see what happens. Well, Sean Laurie, I leave the server. Hopefully he gets back before the race starts. Looks like he's got issues.
He's back in at the moment.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Chris Heineck has also joined the field, so we have 14 runners tonight. Chris Heineck will start at the back. I don't think he managed to get a qualifying lap in.
I'll just take this moment to mention our partners at South Africa, Geek247, SimTech Simulator Equipment, and G4Sim. Very much for your support at South Africa. And check them out. We've got their links to the websites in the description of this video. Watching sim racing in South Africa. So thank you very much.
It's fantastic to have sponsoring the site.
Absolutely. So we're 90 seconds away from the start of the formation lap. And everyone's heart rate has gone up a couple of notches, and they're just trying to figure out their run towards turn one, what they're going to do. And of course, we do the formation lap first, where pole position man Christopher Langeveld will lead the field around the circuit, and then bunch him up just before the final corner. Then we'll then speed up to race pace, and off we'll go down the main straight and start racing from the second lap of this 43 lap race.
So I'm gonna make doubly sure that my car's off the grid, so we'll join the pace lap as soon as I confirm it's off.
Absolutely. No problem.
Okay, so it is off now for sure. Oh, I think Alaric has forgotten that there's a pace lap. He's taking the front of the field.
Okay.
But yeah, he's let them go by, so no harm, no foul, I think.
Perhaps some nerves coming into play there.
Yeah, he's dropped right to the back though, so I think maybe he's penalizing himself for that mistake. Chris Langeveld will lead the field around. We've got Peter Haldenes. Oh, I think we went through the grid already. I'm gonna try and see who's in what tire. So Langeveld's on soft again. And yeah, I can't see the rest unfortunately. So Mark Henry also ran softs on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. So if he gets a good exit out of the last corner, he should be bothering Peter Geldenhuys. The medium guys will need to do a bit of work to get some temp in there. Quade Klassen's in P4. The power of that Nissan down the back straight, you can never discount that. So
Absolutely.
this start is going to be quite exciting.
We might see quite a frantic start from Mark Henry before the two Mercedes-Benz up front get up to pace.
Yeah.
Just like what we saw from you, Basheer, when you're taking on Slangerpart at the start of the race on Monday evening.
Yeah, for
Mark
me,
can be quite aggressive when he wants to be. So
I think Mark has to do something in his first few corners while the Mark doesn't have the temp in, because I think they have a slight pace advantage over him, so he'll need to try and get ahead and defend that position.
Absolutely. As you say, he's got the Nissan right behind him, quite fast. Don't worry about that down there. The long straight.
Nice and easy pace laps.
Yeah, it seems to be a clean pace lap.
Yeah.
And Brett's seeing what he was doing wrong and made a plan about it. So, we do have a sort of unorthodox start to West Africa where you do a formation lap.
So we're at the penultimate lap now, about to start this race. As soon as Chris takes this final corner, it's game on. And here we go. Oh! Peter Geldenhuys has lost it. Peter Geldenhuys has lost it around the last corner, so he loses all that hard work. He's dropped right to the back of the field. Let's see, that should give us a good race for a comeback. And there, as we spoke, Quade Klassen's about to put a move on Mark Henry. That power of the Nissan around the outside. Mark's keeping his line on the inside. They run side by side. Very clean so far. Mark's got the inside line for the next corner. Should have that position.
Yeah, just seeing that incident by Holland, it's a very funny situation, but just sort of losing it. Perhaps it's just cold tires.
I think it was cold tires. And here comes Quade on the inside of Mark. I don't think Mark's going to be able to defend this. Oh wow, he managed to defend. Oh, but he runs a bit wide. Yeah, Quade's got him on the inside. He should have a better line for the next corner now. And he's through. Now Mark's got Rian Lamprecht behind him. So I'm going to stick with this battle because I think it's going to get a bit heated very soon. Mark's coming back at Quade Klassen's. The sector seems to suit the Ferrari very nicely. Less than a tenth, just over 2 tenths now. There's the power of the Nissan as that gap opens up. Even with the Ferrari in slope, that gap's opening up slightly. Langevel's opened up a 2.5 second lead already on this first lap, so he's checked out.
Yeah, he wants to get this done this evening, I think.
Yeah.
It's a long way to go. Just it's lap 3 now, 43. Yeah, the Ferrari is looking very quick through the twisty bits and looking good in the braking as well. But just that deficit in straight line performance is hurting it here.
Yeah, the gap, Quade's able to open up the gap so that... Oh, Mark's slight look, cheeky look there, but unfortunately the pace of the Nissan just pulled it too far ahead on that straight. There's a move. Sparks has gotten past Lorero. Sparks has done very well. He's gone up to 5th place. Very well done.
Wow.
And he's not too far behind the battle for 2nd, 3rd and 4th, so let's see if he can close down this gap. We'll have 2 Ferraris against 2 McLarens and a sole Nissan. Marius May is also not too far behind. powder blue Lamborghini.
Is that what they call that color, Bash?
I'm guessing.
Looks green to me.
Is it green?
Yeah.
Turquoise
Yeah,
then.
I don't know. It could be. I'm always fuzzy with green and blue for some reason. My wife Vanessa keeps telling me, no, that's green, or no, that's blue, and I'm completely opposite. But yeah, the Lamborghini looking good. And they also using VR as far as I understand, the Rift, and certainly impacting his driving.
I'm gonna jump on board with Ilric now. Trying around the outside of Carl Stieg. Trying the famous Peter Geldernees move, and he made it stick. Wow. Around the outside.
Getting loud and rowdy, team name suggests.
Mark Hennebury is not letting Quade Claessens run away. He's keeping that gap under a second. Chris Heineke's made a move on Sushil Rancho there. Brought himself. Oh, but Sushil takes the inside. Nice stand. Well done. Did the undercut. And right behind this we have the recovering Peter Geldernees. He's already closed up to the field, so I think he's going to give us a good bit of action with his comeback. He's shown great pace. And he's past Rancho, right behind Chris Heineke. Chris runs wide.
Movement from Rancho, wow, on debut. That's certainly.
And he made it stick.
Yeah, he did. Then he gets swamped by the Nissan and the Mercedes-Benz.
Let's jump on board with Rian Lamprecht. I think this is the closest battle at the moment. Oh, Sean Loureiro has just tapped Rian Lamprecht. Unfortunately, Loureiro's had a spin, so he's gonna have to wait for the field to go past. I think he's gonna lose a boatload of positions, and he rejoins right at the back of the field. Unfortunate for him. He was having a really great race there for 4th, 5th and 6th. Unfortunately, that tap's taken him right out of contention there. Let's see if he can fight back.
He was very patient on the rejoin. I do appreciate that as well. Just coming across the circuit, trying to get back up as soon as possible.
Yeah, he definitely waited and joined safely. Well done to him for that.
Yeah.
There's a awesome battle happening here with Chris Heineke and Peter Geldernees. Geldernees, that he's going to be kicking himself with that mistake. I think he would have been right up there with Langeveld. Chris was able to open up that gap. I'm surprised at that. I'm going to jump back to the Henbury-Quade Claessens battle. Ferrari looks so agile.
Great to see an Audi on track as well. There's Wyatt Avis.
Oh, there's been a lot of action. Sorry, Jason, there's a lot of action happening in the midfield. I think Steven Sparks made a mistake and dropped right to the back of the field now. Unlucky for him. I don't know if that was as a result of an incident or whether he went off on his own. So I missed that on the camera, unfortunately. Oh, and Peter Caldenes has spun again. He's lost it on the big, long... Oh, his tires are poked. His tires are gone. That's unfortunate, I think. I hope he doesn't have damage, but let's see if he can come back from that.
It's the type of thing where maybe he should come into the pits now, changing his tires.
I think that...
But of course, if their strategy is based on the soft tire, you'd be tied to the end from here. So.
It was a good battle for 8th, 9th, 10th. All the guys running within half a second. So we have a Mercedes sandwiching an Audi, followed by 2 McLarens. Chris Langerfeld is running an incredible pace in front. He just did a 2:04.5. I think that's quicker than anything we saw on Monday, so he's really making up for what happened on Monday.
That's race pace, that's really good.
Chris, Wesley and Kyle, tell me what color it is, guys. I must be colorblind. To me it looks powder blue.
Carl says blue.
That's sitting on the fence, Kyle, come on. Mark Henry's made a move on Quade Clausen's. Wow. The midfield section of this track really suits the Ferrari, and he's made it work, and he's got past and Nissan. Wow. Let's see if he can open up that gap enough so that he doesn't struggle in the straights. Unfortunately, I can't see the tire information, Kyle. I can see that Chris is on softs, Chris Langerfeld, but unfortunately that's as far as it can go.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I can't see that as well. So.
I'll be able to see it in the menu.
Mm.
Let me just check that on the menu. So we have Chris Langerfeld on softs, Quade Clausen's on mediums, Mark Henry on softs, Rian Lamprecht on softs, Marius Meyer on softs, Tim Smith on mediums, Chris Henneke on mediums, Elric Ensslin on softs, Wyatt Avis on softs, Carl Stieg on mediums, so Shields on mediums, Sean is on mediums, Stevens on mediums, and Peter is on softs. And here's a move between Sean Loureiro and Sushil Ranchod on the main straight. Sushil's got the inside line. He should have... Yep, he's got the position on the brakes. Does he outbrake himself? Oh, he outbrakes himself. Gave the position right back. And lost a bit of time as well to the car in front. So the closest battle at the moment is a battle for second and third between Quade and Mark. Sounds like an alien coming through there, Jason.
Yeah, sorry about that. Took me a while to find the mute button.
Loureiro is fighting back and closing in on Carl Stieg now. Mark Henry was able to open up the gap to Quade Clausen, so just over a second. Look at that move by Sean Loureiro. Well done, guy. On the inside and the fast right-hander. That's the first time I've seen a move through there.
Okay, I'm back. I know everyone's trying to find me, stop running now. That's good. Yo, what a move by Sean Loureiro. Wow, I just saw it now. Very decisive and purposeful. Nicely done by this stimulation team driver there.
And look at the power of the Mercedes coming back through on the straight. But Sean's taken the inside line, he should have the position safe, you know. Very clean racing between these two guys. Sean took the defensive line, but that's going to leave him open up this. Just managed to keep the position there.
I'm actually amazed at how well Carl Stieg has developed since the last couple of races. To see him racing like this is actually very impressive.
Oh, Sean Loureiro's lost it again, but this time he hits the wall quite heavily. I think he hit the wall quite heavily there. I'm not sure if he'll be able to continue without pitting. Look at the pace from Chris Langerfeldt though. Shush. He's done a 204.7 now. This pace is quicker than the race pace we had on Monday for sure.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's going to be able to keep the soft tires with this type of lap times. This McLaren looks a bit worse for wear now. I think he's going to have to pit and fix the damage that he picked up. So unfortunately the field's spread out a bit now. There's no more close battles. Battle for second and third seems to be the closest, but that's 2.5 seconds between the guys.
I think it's going to the pit stop phase, seeing more action really.
Yeah.
But let's see what happens. Early days.
Let's jump on board with Chris Langerfeldt and watch him do a lap.
Yeah,
Show us how it's done.
There we go.
Amazing consistency. He's just 800ths off his best lap time. So his tires seem to be holding up quite well. Sean Loureiro's disconnected, unfortunately. I think the damage was a bit too much there.
We just watched Langerfeldt's wheel action, the way he turns the steering wheel. He's basically just suggesting according to the car, and then the car did the work, and there's no left-right action at all. It's nice and butter smooth.
Yeah, very smooth.
To putting a good lap time together. He's incredibly good under braking as well.
Up until this point of the lap, he's still matching his best lap delta, so extremely consistent. Oh, stay away from the curbs. See, it's set up quite firm, so the car doesn't seem to like any of the curbs.
Yeah, we saw, I think, Christopher got off twice in the race Monday evening, which seemed to much of a curve. Much better this evening. We're doing a 15-second lead now at Mark.
The gap's really opened up. 15 seconds. I think he should be able to pit if he needs to very soon with this pace.
I mean, just to see how far you can actually push yourself. Going to be able to stage. Who knows? But I think that would be the strategy to go for. Especially with such a sort of advantage in hand.
He's using the torque of the Mercedes rather than revving the daylights out of it.
It's all part of sim racing. It's all about finding the way to drive your car, and you know, just doing a bit of research and finding out what is the optimum RPM for the Mercedes Benz, and you know, using it as your shift point. It doesn't always make sense to rev the gas out of the car to get the most out of it. Very often it's just up to 5,500 RPM or a bit more, whatever, not up to 7. Oh, a big slide there I'm seeing by Langerthal as well to control it. And things like optimum brake temperature and tire pressure are very important as well. All these things come together to produce a good lap time.
Yeah, it's a combination of all those settings.
Yeah.
See, Quade Clausen's able to peg the gap to Mark Henry a bit now. I wonder if Mark Henry's tires are going to start to wear off, and that'll allow Quade to pull that gap back. I think Quade's on the mediums.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
So the field right now, the positions are Mark Henry's in second, Chris Langefeld's far up the road leading this race, Quade Clausen's in third, Rian Lamprecht in fourth, Marius Meyer is in fifth, Tim Smith is in sixth, Chris Heineke's, wow, he's gone up to seventh from the back, that's well done to him. Alaric Enslin is in eighth. Carl Steeg's in 9th. Peter Geldenes is recovering again now quite well. He's back up to 10th place. Stephen Sparks also, after his spin, is recovering in 11th. And Wyatt Avis is in 12th. And I think Rancho just parked the car off. Oh, he did a pit and he's coming back out now.
Yeah. It is up there for Rancho. Perhaps eyeing a two-stop strategy for this race.
Probably eyeing a two-stop, yeah. And he's just about to be lapped. Let's see how he deals with. Well done, kept out of the way.
Yeah.
And he
we see May and Smith coming quite close together. That gap.
Let's join that gap.
Lamborghini Porsche battle.
And we have Chris Heineke joining the part. Oh! Marius Meyers made a mess up of the last corner, and that had a bit of oversteer there. But he managed to save it, but I think he's going to lose 2 positions out there. Yeah, both Tim Smith and Chris Heineker's managed to get past him. Unfortunate. Commentary curse again.
Yeah, see, I just mentioned the guy's name and off he goes. So,
His tires are a bit worn there. He had another slide.
he actually did very well to hang on to it. That
Yeah.
car was heading towards the tire barrier.
So this is probably the closest. Yeah, this is the closest battle now for 5th place. Tim Smith in the Porsche against Chris Heineker in Nissan.
And then the big slide there was Balmair a couple of corners ago. He's struggling
Tim
with his tires
Smith.
at the moment.
I think that spin probably heated them up a bit too much. I think we saw he was on the softs, so can't recall. Tim Smith's a bit wide here. It's going to give Chris Heineker a chance to close up a bit more on the inside line. Although he didn't really make up any time, so I think that's just the line that the Porsche is taking. Now we're going to see a drag race on the main straight. 2 tenths in it. And Tim Smith's gone defensive. Chris Heineker's got a run though. And he made it through on the outside. I think Tim Smith braked a bit early there just to give him the place. I don't think he wanted to fight for it. Maybe he'll come back around the next straight, use the slipstream and pay back Chris. Jason, is there a way to stop my camera from changing automatically?
Yeah, I didn't know that it was possible.
My camera is switching all the time, and I'm not doing anything.
No, I don't. Yeah, I'm not quite sure why that's happening actually. Interesting.
I have to keep on changing it because at the worst possible point it changes the camera.
Okay. No, I don't have an answer for you right now. I don't even know how that's actually happening. So interesting.
Ghost work problems. Ghost problems.
Ghost problems.
So Tim's just 8 tenths behind Chris Heineker now. I think. Oh, too much curb there. Almost lost the back end. Well held.
Bash, which keys are you using to change the cameras?
F2 and F6.
F2 is the problem. Use F3.
Oh, okay.
I think is the problem. Yeah. Let's having a quick forum search here.
Okay.
Apparently that might be the problem. Yeah, Jonathan Penn says I just confirming in the chat. The F button says that.
Yeah. Thanks, Jeno. That helps.
Thanks, man. Should you check the live chat?
Yeah.
They're in a Google crusade.
So Mark Henry's showing still pretty good pace because he's still matching his best lap times. So he's keeping it quite consistent there. I would have expected a big drop off by now, especially with the car that I chose, but yeah, these guys are making the soft tires work. Kudos to them. Well done to Rancho there, making it nice and easy for traffic to get by. Moved off the line and giving Mark Henry the line. Well done. Quade Claessens is maintaining that gap, but it's not getting much smaller, not getting any bigger. I think it's just maintaining it there.
Perhaps the battle to look out for is the Stieg Sheldon is better for.
Let's jump on board with them now. Oh yes, that's getting right, getting tasty. Oh, he loses it again. I think he clipped the grass there. He's having a nightmare today. Unlucky, Peter. Both of them went off actually. I think they made contact there. I must have missed that. Looking at the YouTube chat. Yeah, unfortunately both of them went off, and yeah, the gaps opened up a bit again. So Peter's got it all to do.
Late on the brakes there, right into the back of Stieg. I think Thomas just caught out with how early Stieg was braking, and they had nowhere to go.
Rian Lamprecht is all alone in 4th place. Massive gap behind and a good gap in front as well. I think he'll be one of the guys maybe to try and do an undercut to try and bridge that gap. I think some of the guys are going to have to get creative with their pit strategies here to try and close some of these gaps down. Chris Hennig is also in a safe gap now in 5th place, pretty much equidistant between 4th and 6th behind him. So
with Smith and Mayer getting quite close together.
Let's jump on board with them. Mayer's caught right back up because he had that slight back end tail happy moment there that dropped him back, so he's done very well to close back up, and yeah, this should be a good battle now.
Calvinist in the pits as well.
Peter must have suffered some damage there because I think that was his 3rd off there. So yeah, I think he's taking this opportunity to calm down and repair the damage as well. So you have the battle of the screamers here, the V10 and the Lamborghini. Oh, slide there by Tim Smith. It's not gonna help his speed on the straight, so should allow Mayo to. Oh, Mayo jumps into the pits. Mayo's gonna try
just
the
a battle
undercut.
for see how it see what happens.
Mayo's gonna try the undercut, yeah.
Then Tim decides to come in. And how long Tim will run for?
See how many positions Mayo loses in the pit stop phase. And he's moving now, and yeah, he's dropped 3 places, or 2 places in 9th now. So he must. I'm just gonna watch his lap time and see if he uses the newer tires to do an undercut on Tim Smith, because he was right on there, right on for an opportunity to pass. Chris Langerfeld's opened up the lead now to 24 seconds. He's maintaining that awesome pace that he had from the start.
Yeah, I wonder if he's trying to sort of work his stop advantage to second position, but he needs to get to another sort of 20 seconds or so. It's a bit of a tall ask for the halfway stage. 24 seconds is usually terrible.
White's in the pits, White Avis. See that Chris's pace has dropped off a slight bit now. He's 2 seconds off his best lap delta, so maybe those tires have had its day now. But that's still 19 laps at awesome pace, and he built up that gap where I doubt he'll have any problem making the pit and getting back out in front unless he makes a mistake. Rian Lamprecht has gone into the pits. Lets Chris Henneke pass him. And Wyatt Evers is disconnected from the server.
Oh no. see Steven Sparks is chasing down Morris May for 9. It was 4 seconds, it's gone right down to 1.5 seconds. So I'm not sure if May's made a mistake or something, but Sparks was trying to apply the pressure to May. So to approach the halfway stage of the race now, we could
gap's closing down nicely. Tim Smith's in the pits, so we're going to stick with this and see how that undercut worked, for whether it worked or not for Marius.
Sparks is right there with May now.
Where did Tim Smith go?
Smith is in the pits.
He just disappeared off my timing screen.
Okay.
I wonder if he had a DC.
Yes, he has. He disconnected.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, we wanted to see what was going to happen with him and Maya.
Yeah.
Look at all the pit stops.
Langerfeld's in the pits. Oh, Stevens had another spin, unfortunately. That's the mid-engine cars that just want to come around on you when they have a little too much heat in there.
Yeah.
Henbury's followed Langerfeld into the pits, as has Quaid Claessens. So the top three are in the pits right at the same time.
Yeah, it's halfway stage of the race.
Langerfeld's leaving as the others come in, so that's what a big lead he had. So he rejoins back in the lead of the race. So he's making sure he does it all. Leads every lap, takes pole, and has the fastest lap.
It's doing a cable race.
Yeah. So after the pits, Quaid Claessens is 1.7 seconds behind Mark Henry. So he's won a lot of time in that pit sequence.
Has Heineke done a pit stop?
Not as yet. He's in second place as well. Carl Stieg looks like he's made a mistake and that allowed Marius Meyer to get by. Chris Hennick is in the pits now, so he's dropped back down probably to 5th place. I think he was 6th behind Lamprecht, so let's see how his pit stop works. Comes out ahead of Lamprecht, right ahead of Lamprecht, so here's a battle here.
Wow.
Chris will have to get his tires up to temp, and Rian should have them in the sweet spot by now.
Yeah, something we saw on Monday, during Monday's race, we saw the McLaren guns of the Nissan all the way towards turn 1. And if Rian Lamprecht can do that to get close to Chris Haneke through that last corner into the main straight, might serve as a overtaking opportunity and a braking into turn 1. Let's see if Rian can do that. But first is to catch up to Chris Haneke, of course.
He's catching up quite nicely. Brought it down to under a second now.
Yeah. It's going to be quite an intriguing battle at the halfway stage of this race.
Yep. It's fantastic to see the strengths of the different cars. Like the McLaren seems to be so quick through that middle sector. And now we're going to see the strength of the Nissan through sector 1. Elric Enslin's into the pits, so he'll drop back. So this is a battle for 4th and 5th now. Chris Hennick is able to pull almost 3/10 of a second in just the main straight. Through the corners you see that the gap comes down a bit. Now as we hit the straight again, up it goes. Although I think Rian had a much better exit there, so it didn't go up too much. Still 3/10 of a second though. And Chris Langeveld is back into the 204s.
Just flexing with a muscle there. 32 now, so it could be.
This battle we're watching is going to be quite interesting. It seems very evenly matched on lap times, but the gap is remaining the same, with each car having strengths in different areas of the track. So it's going to take a lot of work from Rian to bring it down and then to make a move.
Yeah, and he's just going to have to have sort of a margin going straight, so then he doesn't catch up to him again before turn 1. So they've got a high work rate
Yeah.
to get that done. But you can see around just sort of cutting corners line, time you can do. And around apex through the corners and hug those apexes a bit tighter.
Yeah, he's able to carry a lot more corner speed as well as a result of that. And you can see this gap seesawing a bit.
Decided to move away from so slightly past that and see if Lampe can come back in.
And the gap is remaining as static, I think.
Okay.
Slightly opening maybe a tenth of a second at a time by Chris. But through the middle sector and most of the final sector, through the twisties, that McLaren is closing right back up to the Nissan. I think you just can't break that 1 second barrier and just get into the slip for the straight. Elric Enslin's just passed Carl Stieg for 7th place. Yeah, I think he's pulling that gap out a bit. So we'll stick with the battle between Lamprecht and Chris Heineke. Mark Henry is able to open up that gap to Quade Claessens again to around the 5 second mark, which is what it was more or less before the pit stop intervals. So I think he's got that covered more or less, unless he makes a mistake.
Unfortunately.
And it's under a second for the first time, Jason. It's under a second, 7/10 between Rian and Chris Heineke. But then as soon as they hit it straight again, it opens up slightly. Rian needs to have a perfect exit to the next few corners so that he can be on Chris's tail. Doesn't look like he got it. So it's back up to over a second. But it got close for a little bit.
Yeah. It's also too much remaining for what? We've got an exciting last couple of laps.
Yep. gap's now open to 1.7 seconds, unfortunately. Chris Langeveld's just done the fastest lap of the race at 2:04.5. So this gaps are pretty much evened out. I'm gonna head over to the battle between Marius Meyer and Elric Enslin. Elric seems to have closed this gap down to Marius quite a bit over the last few laps. Well, this battle's heating up nicely. It's under a second now, 7/10. Under half a second now. Oh, Marius goes a bit wide. Oh, he opens the door for Elric, but Elric has a bit of a tail slide, but he's going around the outside. And he does it around the outside, wall of death. Seems to be the move for these Mercedes, eh?
Yes,
Around the outside.
He obviously studied with Carlos to the Monday night.
Yeah.
Race.
What happened to Chris Langeveld? He's fallen off the timing screen.
What's happened to Chris Langeveld? Did we disconnected?
I think so, because he's just disappeared from the timing screen, and it must have been a DC or a power failure or something of that sort.
Could be. Let's see what happens. Yeah, Henry's gone to the front.
Henry's gone to the front.
So that's really messed things up. So let's see if Langeveld will get back in the race.
Yeah, if he rejoins now, he'll still be in 5th place. So
suddenly Quake Classes realizes he's
fighting for the win.
6.7 seconds off the lead. So expect Klassen to start pushing like hell now. So will him leading this race.
Mark Henry's also said that he's got something to prove by taming his famous corner. I think he's done it thus far. Let's. I don't want to curse him, but let's hope he continues. That's unfortunate for Chris Langeveld. He was flying when he was in his own league here. But that's Mark Henry's gain. So now his lonely second is now fight for the win or run to the win.
And now the nerves start building, and hopefully I don't make a mistake in this corner and that corner. And focus and forget about sort of being in the front and just focus on his driving. And just try and be at one with the car as much as you can. And it's very much a mental game. I mean, if I'm sort of towards the front and nearing the end, I'm absolutely in a state because I realize that sort of a win is at stake, and then to start doubting yourself towards the end. It's very much a mind game, and to sort of put yourself out of that and focus on your driving.
Yeah, finding something to focus on is the only thing, otherwise you're gonna have your mind wander.
Absolutely.
And it just takes 1 second or 1 millisecond for it all to go pear-shaped. Langfall's back in, but rejoins in 10th. So that's a real pity for him. He was really open. He really opened up that gap, and sucks. So Mark Henry's about to lap Carl Stieg. He's got past. So now the closest battle is the battle for 4th place. Elric Enslin in the Mercedes, and he's gonna probably challenge Rian Lamprecht in a few laps time. Still 13 laps, 12 laps to go, so more than enough time to close up that gap. Cheers, Wesley.
Do we know why Lamprecht fell so behind? The gap's up to 36 seconds.
He must have had an off there.
Must have had an off.
Yeah, off camera.
Looks like it.
Because he was right behind Chris Heinicke at the pit stop stage, so.
Yeah, and Enslin's catching like crazy as well.
He's just done a 2:10, so Enslin was almost 3 seconds quicker that lap. So I don't know if, let's see if Lamprecht's nursing some damage or whether he just had a few poor laps. I see there is some damage on the side of the car.
Okay.
Off the track, just managed to keep it straight. Clausen slowly bringing the gap back down to Mark Henry. 6.5 seconds now.
The gap was around 7.1, I think.
Yeah, close to 7 seconds. So, or more than 7 seconds actually. So yeah, he's bringing it down slowly.
See, then if I was disconnected from the server again, so 9-4. So it hasn't been a good race for Redline once again. So that's unfortunate. Trying to put put the right there, right for money.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate for them.
Yeah. That's how brutal sim racing can be. Sometimes you can have and drive the best of the best of the field, and so your line can let you down, and there you go. It's nothing you can do about it. Out of your hands.
It's brutal though. It's a shame, really. The battle we're watching, or the cars that we're watching, are really in the closest battle at the moment. Just over 3 seconds between 4th and 5th.
Yeah.
It's staying consistent now, so I think Rian must have had quite a big off actually to bring that gap down so much to Chris Heineke. And it looks like Quade Klassen's made a mistake because he's fallen back 22 seconds now.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got really bad damage on that car. That car's moving around. I wonder if he's gonna have to pit. Yeah, he's gonna have to pit. So Chris Heineke's gonna inherit 2nd place.
Yeah. And Lamprecht's probably going to go to 3rd. And Insolent suddenly finds himself battling for a
podium.
Yeah.
That's why you never say die and never quit. Just keep on going. You never know what you're gonna get at the end.
Yeah.
Let's see if Rian Lamprecht's gonna manage to get by. Quid should put on the softs now and go for all-out attack.
Yeah.
He could still come out in front of. No, I think it's. Yeah, I think Rian's gonna pass him now. He's moving, but I think Rian's on the main straight. So Rian's gonna get by, as will Elric. So let's see if Quade's able to bring that gap down and fight for that podium place. Although he's accelerating quite slowly, I think he's still got a bit of damage there.
Okay.
So Marius Meyer is now going to attack Quade, and something's definitely wrong with Quade's car. I don't think his damage was repaired.
Yeah.
Struggling again, so that's gone pear-shaped for him.
Yeah.
He probably hadn't set up his pit stop where the damage would be repaired. Peter Galdenes has moved up to 6th. So Peter Galdenes and Marius Meyer is going to have a good fight very soon. So the tires, Mark Henry's on soft, Quade Klassen's is on softs, Chris Heineke's on mediums, Rian Lamprecht's on soft, Elric Enslin's on softs, Marius Meyer on mediums, Peter Galdenes is on softs, Steven Sparks on mediums, Carl Stieg on mediums, and Sushil Ranchod is on mediums. I forgot the name. My apologies.
You're forgiven his new driving dash. Great driving, Sushil. It's great just to have you racing with us, and
yeah, look forward to having you back for more.
Of the type of racing that we want, how we want to race. And you're fitting right in, so it's great to see. We look forward to seeing you improve as you.
Absolutely, yeah.
Races, it's great. The gap between Lamprecht and stabilize it from.
Yeah, it's stabilized a bit now. I think Rian probably had an off as we joined that battle.
Lamprecht could have been sort of battling get overly tired, but he's still got that under control.
When I head over to the Geldernes Meyer battle, because that's under a second now, Quaid Claessen's back in the pits. Hopefully he's able to fix that damage and try to recover what was very unlucky for Quaid. Steven Sparks has passed Quaid. Oh, Marius touches the grass there. This is going to give Peter Geldernes a chance. Around the outside, I think Marius was a bit backed off there, but to avoid any contact. I think he probably had a bit of a dirty tire there, so he gave up that position. So Peter Geldernes finds himself in 5th. Oh, Marius lost the back end of the Lambo there. I think he just clipped the barrier. Shouldn't have too bad damage. Hopefully he can continue without needing a pit stop.
It's good to see Enric incidents some great pace. Peter Geldernes has been pretty fast in the instance, sort of keeping that gap at 14 seconds. Instant really going to be nicely in the last couple of races. And, yeah, if you're watching this live stream for the first time, this is basically sim racing. And if you'd like to get involved, you're welcome to visit our website at simracesa.co.za. We have a go to our getting started page and have a read as to how the current season works. And yeah, there's a sign-up form at the bottom of the page. The season is about to come to an end. 3 rounds left for the season. But the 28.2 seasons, I think I'm looking to kind of at sort of mid-July, I think it is. So, yeah, and it's find a teammate and start up a team and come racing with us. And we've got quite a vibrant forum channel. You're welcome to join. All the links on the website. And yeah, we use a set of courses, a simulator we use, and everybody uses a gaming wheel set, which is essential to putting together a good lap time.
Oh, on board with Mark Embry and almost loses the back end. Well held, Mark.
Yeah, this is just calm his mind and keep focus. He's got a 35-second lead ahead of the next driver. And just 6 laps remaining now. So really important to take it easy. But then again, if you start changing your rhythm around the circuit,
and that's sometimes the worst thing you can do, because
yeah, that's yeah, as you said, perhaps that's what Mark's saying now. Actually upsetting his driving. Just needs to keep driving like he was, and perhaps just take the slight edge of it.
Rian and Elric are having a very good battle there. They're maintaining the gap quite nicely, so trading lap times. Is this the first race that Elric's doing with the Mercedes?
I think it is, yes.
So that's impressive.
Yeah. Well, the gap's starting to come down now to Lamprecht for insulin.
Yeah, it's coming down so slightly. It was just over 4 seconds.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite enough to 5 laps remaining.
Chris Hennick has found himself in second place after starting at the back of the grid.
It's quite a drive.
Well done to
I,
him.
I had the pleasure of battling against him at Atlanta. Quite a battle.
Yeah, that was one hell of a battle to watch as well.
We both threw away the lead. The silly mistakes was actually ridiculous, but Chris came out on top at the end. We were pushing each other very, very hard. Yeah, it's worth a watch on the live stream. If you have a look at our channel, it's a Division 2 Road Atlanta race. We were matching each other lap time for lap time. And yeah, we all just made silly mistakes which separated us. But it was really great. It's quite a blasted.
Gap between Elric and Rian's opened up a bit to over 4 seconds again. So I think Rian pretty much got it covered now, and barring any mistakes though. Peter Galden is in 5th place after having multiple recoveries. Still a good result at the end, well done.
That's a great sort of character too when you have
Absolutely, yeah.
get out there and get to the end. That's the right attitude to have. Yeah.
Marius Meyers dropped back a touch from Peter Galdenese. I think his tires have probably seen better days. I think that Lamborghini is one of the best sounding cars in this game. Sounds so distinctive.
Yeah. I tend to agree. I also like the sound of the Porsche as well.
Porsche is also a screamer, yeah.
The screamer, yeah. Absolutely.
Craig Claessens finds himself in 8th after that unlucky spin and the pit stop problems that he had where the damage wasn't repaired, so he pitted 3 times this race now.
Yeah, such bad luck.
It's really unfortunate for him. He was running in a strong second.
So this is
unlucky.
It's a round to ticket for him, unfortunately.
Yeah. Jump on board with Mark for the last couple of laps. I think there's 2 laps remaining. Oh, Mark, hold it together. Oh, he hits the wall and he has a spin.
No, don't say that.
I hope he doesn't have too much of damage and he can lump this car home because the windscreen's cracked. Oh, he has to. No, he's carrying on. He's gonna try to lump it home.
Yeah. And this would have given Chris Haneke an area now. Yeah, how bad is that car?
It looks quite bad. I'm just gonna watch him through the first corner now. I should be able to. He should be able to drive it home.
Yeah, I've just seen an incident now. It's as bad as what it looked like. It crashed the wall a couple of times. Actually, the last impact was quite hard, but not too bad. So the rear wing is still intact, so that's good.
Fortunately for him, he's got a good gap to P2, so he just needs to lump this car home now, avoid any further spins.
But I'm worried about overheated tires as well.
Yeah, he needs to keep a close eye on that gap now. I think this is gonna give Chris Haneke some motivation to push even harder than he's been pushing.
Yeah.
Seen the gap go down by almost half of what it was. It's coming down a hell of a lot.
I think it was at 38 seconds on stage, something like that.
It's now 17.
17.
I think this is the last lap though, is it?
I think there's a lap and a half or so. Oh yeah, it should be. That's not the last lap. Not yet.
Oh yeah, he's got to do one more lap.
Yeah.
And he's lost almost, I'd say about 17 to 18 seconds on that lap. And the gap now is only 13 seconds to Chris Haneke, so it's gonna be touch and go. He's really struggling for pace. You can hear how low the car is revving. And he starts his final lap. He's done a 2:21, so he lost, what's that, 16 seconds?
Yeah, easily.
He's already lost 2 seconds on his personal best in the first corner. So Chris Haneke is going to come up to to Mark Henry before the end of this lap. That's really...
It looks like he's got no power in the car.
Yeah, he's just not accelerating out the corners. He's already 4 seconds down on his best lap delta, and there's Chris in the same shot. Chris Haneke is coming. Let's go on board with Chris Haneke. As we see the struggling Mark Henry up front. So this has been a really eventful race with Chris Langeveld having such a massive lead with his awesome pace and him having connection or PC problems, and now Mark Henry also with a solid comfortable lead having a spin. Chris Haneke is coming from the back and he can he can actually take a win here. Few corners left though, so it's touch and go till the end.
Wow.
2.5 seconds now. .7, 1.5. He's closing in as if I don't think Mark's gonna be able to defend this. It's under 0.7 of a second now. And Mark goes, and Chris Haneke has gone through for the lead of the race on the penultimate corner.
Incredible turnaround. Wow.
Incredible. That's I feel gutted for Mark feel gutted for Chris Langeveld as well. But Chris Hennig is smiling across the line to take a victory from absolutely nowhere.
From the back of the field.
From the back of the field. Well done to Chris.
Incredible.
Mark Henry finishes second. Rian Lamprecht is gonna come through to finish in P3. He's got a 5-second gap to Alaric behind him. I think that should be safe.
Absolutely beautiful for Mark Henry.
That's
amazing.
brutal.
He just got rid of his bad luck at the circuit last
Absolutely.
shoot the circuit.
So Elaric's gonna finish in 4th. He's happy with that, weaving about. Well done, Elaric. Good recovery drive there. Peter Geldenes is gonna finish in 5th. He's also had a stellar comeback through the field. Marius Meyer will finish in 6th. And Steven Sparks will come through in 7th. Wow, that was an incredible race, Jason. how it changed.
Amazing. The swing. But yeah, congratulations to Chris Heineck for taking the victory. And he's snatching it from Embry at the death. Can you believe it? Lamprecht finishes with the podium, is that correct?
Yep, he's in P3. Elaric in a strong P4.
Some great drives by the drivers this evening. Great to see the drivers struggling in the last couple of rounds to come to this race. I thought the driving was very good. And yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Yep,
and great to see Basheer run Chod as well.
Yep.
For the first time this evening.
He had a very good outing. Showed some good racecraft with the lap traffic as well. So well done to him. Hope to see him again very soon. I think there's a race next week.
Yes, yeah. Okay, well that concludes round 4 of the 2018.1 South African GT series. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you very much, Basheer.
Thanks, Jason, for joining me. That was fun. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
I did
and then until Monday evening for Division 1 South African Q, the double race format. All the best until then. Goodbye.
Yep. Good night, guys. Cheers.